Hi friends, what are your children really learning in our Michigan schools? We've all heard, or if you haven't, you need to, the scores are not good. Math and reading especially, we're like bottom of the barrel for the whole nation. We never used to be there. We used to be top 10. Michigan was smart kids, smart, good turnout, great teachers, great education with school choice across the board. And we don't have that anymore. And we still have choice, and we still have a really strong teachers union. We've lost something. Our kids are not performing well. I submit to you it's because they're tremendously distracted. The amount of distraction for teachers and administration is even greater. I think that's the problem. We have smart kids. We have good teachers. Structure, something very wrong with it. And I want to explain a few things. Recently, you may or may not have heard of this. The SBOE, State Board of Education, elections have consequences. These are elected folks. Most of them are not with the parents, the common sense that you and I share. Michigan Department of Education, they all work together and they determine a lot of standards, curricula goes across the board to our Michigan schools. And every school district is supposed to have at least some level of autonomy, how they spend the money, what they're teaching, and that needs to be retained. But the way they just rolled out some new sex ed standards that used to be optional, now they're embedded into many, many things. Global climate change, how to save Mother Earth, how to have your child come home and be the authority in the room, authority in the home, because you, the parent, can't figure out well enough how to teach your child how to just function in the society and breathe in clean air, clean water, and survive the next month, year, decade. There's a lot of creepy things being taught to our kids, and it's now been given the backing to be embedded into mandatory classes. So what did the legislature do? We wrote a letter to the State Board of Ed and said, number one, you're working around us, not with us. You're going to set new mandates in place for education in Michigan, public schools, K through 12, out us even being involved. And we're elected. We represent our districts, senators and representatives. And you went around us. Why in the world would you do that? Why can't we collaborate? I hear all the time, we want to hear everybody's voice. We want to hear about all the views in the room. We're listening to everyone. No, you're not, State Board of Ed, Michigan Department of Ed. You're not, because you went around us. So we wrote a letter saying we oppose the new standards and they wouldn't listen. So we made a resolution. The House Republicans who lead in the House, we made the resolution. We passed it through the House, through committee first, then the House. We gave it every possibility of being vetted and being discussed and distributed amongst everybody's thought process and given opportunity for proper conversation. That's what they should have done. They didn't do it. What did they do as a result? They ignored us. We brought them into an oversight committee. We had them explain themselves. They walked out before we had a chance to explain ourselves. All in a very calm, respectful, honoring them and us, honorable way. The way the process is supposed to be. They walked out of the room. They would not participate in hearing what everyone had to say in a type of open forum in the oversight committee. And so they never even heard our side of what we wanted them to consider. Ignore. They pushed the ignore button. They ignored the legislature. They ignored the school boards. Local school boards have authority in the local schools. They ignored what the parents said and wanted. Thousands of emails and letters and phone calls were sent to them, I hear, saying, please do not put these standards in. We can't vet it properly. We can't see the material. It's going to be so hard to opt out because we won't even know where it is. And they ignored them. They ignored teachers and administrators. They want nothing to do with this. Our good teachers and administrators do not want this. They're having a hard enough time with classroom management. It is at an all-time high level of difficulty in our schools today. And they do not need this added stress. So where's the opt-out option? They say it's still there. Where is it? This is what you need to do, parents. You need to go ask for the materials, the curriculum, and where's the opt-out form? Where's the opt-out form? If they can produce it, post it. Post it on social media. Don't be angry and belligerent and obnoxious. Just post it. See if they have it. Where's a way to view first all of these materials before they're embedded into health class, math class, believe it or not, science, social studies, and the list goes on from there. Reading, literature. They're embedding it into mandated classes. And how in the world can you view it first when it's half of one class 1 week, part of another class another week? You don't know which week, which day, which month, what part of which class it's inserted into. And the State Board of Ed, they put this through to back up the bad actors in this school systems in our state. There's some bad actors. We're not saying our teachers and administrators are bad actors, but the bad actors are going to get away with it now because they're going to back them up with terrible sex ed perversion, terrible global climate change. That's opinion. That's opinion and propaganda at best. And to put the stressor on the child to go home and teach the parent the way things should be in a safe society, because suddenly they don't feel safe because they went to school and were taught, I'm not safe. The world's going to end. It's wrong. It's sabotage of a calm, quiet, stable home. And it's the parent's duty anyway. Okay, so there's no penalties for violating federal standards that are opposed to all of this. We cited that in the letter. There's no penalties for not showing the opt-out forms or getting the parents all of the controversial material, which shouldn't be in school anyway, but all of this controversial material should be shown to every parent before they give permission for this to be taught in the schools. And this is one of the biggest points. Schools, administrators, teachers, you don't have to do this because it's not right. It was never vetted through the legislature. If your local school board opposes it, you should not be forced to teach it. And the parents, that's where the child starts and ends. If anything goes wrong with the child, if they have extra needs, mental health, physical, whatever, who's responsible for all that? The parents. The government does not pick up the tab on problems with the student. The parents do for the rest of their lives. Let's not forget that. And most of all, this is all going on with what I started this narrative, this video to tell you what's going on. Our kids are not learning. They are not learning math, reading, science, history, the basics. That's why our scores are so low. We are getting distracted with all that they are promoting, which is controversial political propaganda and sexual material that you would call grooming if you had to read it and study it yourself. This is critically important. Our children are at risk. When we see mental health problems going through the roof, suicide going through the roof, there's a reason you need to be more involved, more aware of what's going on. Go to your schools, and if you need help, you contact me as one of your legislators and any of the other legislators in the Republican Party. We will back you up and help you.